Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. It's episode number 88 today. We're spot on with what number we're actually recording now. If you saw yesterday's episode, then you'll understand we didn't know what the hell was going on. But we are back now with France versus Morocco tonight. We're going to give a preview, talk about both teams sort of run-in and give a prediction. Where should we start, Harry? France and Morocco.
I mean, look at us, not a podcast for a few weeks and now we're two back-to-back days. And I mean, I said this. If you haven't watched yesterday's, go watch it.
Do that. It'll be linked in the cards.
If you have, you will know that I said that this semi-final, France versus Morocco, will be the better game because I think it is just such a good contest between the reigning champions, the big nation in terms of France, and then you've got this underdog story of Morocco who are absolutely flying. But do not underestimate them. They have looked brilliant all tournament. Yeah. 1 goal conceded. Brilliant campaign. But we'll start with France, as they are technically the designated home side.
Yeah. And the favourites. The favourites for the tournament
absolutely
now with Brazil
flying. Battered Australia. Got through against Denmark. Tunisia was a heavily rested game. That tells me nothing, that loss there. So a really, really strong group stage for France. As expected, we've seen Mbappe's on 2 assists, 5 goals, Giroud's on 4 goals, and obviously is now France's leading goal scorer of all time. That is a question to be held, but I think he's I've said this so many times, undoubtedly the most underrated striker of the decade.
He's really good. Do you hold many questions?
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Well, France has run this. We'll start with the first group game. Australia 4-1, very solid. I know, but then Denmark 2-1, Tunisia.
Yeah, flying. Mbappe causing all sorts of problems for everyone. Flying. Giroud breaking records. Flying. Griezmann has been creative best in the cam role. Dembele's caused problems.
Yeah, he's looked really good this time, especially considering how poor Griezmann's been.
Yeah,
for club football, exactly. He's not done much, but then on the international stage, back to his usual best.
And
brilliant
I did
to see.
See this. If France have got to say finals without Benzema, without Koundé,
or would Benzema have started?
Without Kante, without Pogba, without Lafont. Without
it shows that
there are so many.
Lafont.
I saw a list of 8 players. I can't remember off There's a list of 8 players that are all missing this World Cup for France.
They don't have Thierry Henry either.
No, Thierry's not running the field. But yeah, France with big players missing have been absolutely flying. And I mean, Poland, we expected it to waltz it. They did waltz it. The Lewandowski consolation makes it look like Poland were competitive. They weren't. They were second best all game. France wiped the floor with them. And then the controversial quarter-final that we're going to get onto now.
Yeah, that goal for Lewandowski did mean a lot for my World Cup fantasy team, which completely muddied me. But
and at least Lewandowski can now say he's scored more than 1 World Cup goal.
Yeah, he is now level with who was the guy who scored a really random bloke who scored a goal? Can't remember.
Chabet.
Yeah, sure, Louis Chabet, Batshuayi.
Yeah.
Any of them will work.
He's now ahead of them, lucky for him.
Yeah, no, he is killing it.
And then the quarter against England. Now, if you ask me, as an England fan...
Right, we're not going to talk about it from an England perspective, though. Wait till next week for that.
Yes, but their first goal shouldn't have stood, and England should have had another penalty, but massively let off the hook were France. I think they were, give them credit where credit's due, better team first half. They played well. Xiaomeni, first World Cup goal for France, he had a good game. They were brilliant first half. They were second best second half.
Just a shame they had to cheat their way to get there.
Yeah. Referee had a howler. Was on France's side through the whole game.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were massively let off the hook that Harry Kane misses that second penalty. Because if it's 2-2 England were on top. England either get a third or take it extra time and win.
Not only that, but England also should have had more penalties. But that is beside the point. France have still been sensational. They still look really good in this game. The fact that they were outplayed by England, I don't think that reflects poorly on France.
Again,
that is a very good England side. They still managed to get the win.
Somehow.
They should be comfortable now. Against a side like Morocco, considering they played very well against England. Look, Morocco can play really well, don't get me wrong. And I hope Morocco win. But
Morocco have pulled off the improbable twice already. They're not stopping at France. We'll start with the group stage.
Sure.
Unbeaten group stage. Top of group where I thought they'd be bottom.
You really thought they'd be bottom?
I thought Belgium and Croatia would go through.
To be fair, when you look at the context of Ziyech's now only just back in the national fold, national setup after
has been woeful for Sevilla.
Done nothing. But Walid coming in as the coach. So he's now 8 games into his tenure.
Wow,
5 of which are at this World Cup. That is insane. But I mean, if Morocco was somehow, I mean, they're the first African semi-finalists at a World Cup. And it's been sensational. 0-0 against Croatia. That was fun. They got the point they needed.
Solid draw.
Beat Belgium 2-0. Beat Canada 2-1. They fly through.
It was the Belgian result that caught me. I thought, draw to Croatia. That's just a good result. One of those World Cup, they picked up a good point there. Belgium, Morocco were the better team for the whole 90 minutes.
It's the way they play that surprises me so much. They're not like other teams who are underdogs that sit really, really deep and then spring on the counter. They play some beautiful football. They've got Ashraf Hakimi running in donkey's yards, mate. I don't even know what that means, but it's a thing, and he's running really far.
Brilliant promoting play, but also brilliant on set pieces. Their set pieces have been playing, but I'll get onto that in a minute because there's something I want to say about set pieces regarding France as well. But Belgium, 2 set piece goals, play phenomenally, and then Canada. I mean, they were already through. Morocco already through, so it was a mandatory game. Bit of a rest game for them.
No, they weren't.
Were they not?
Croatia had more points than them going into that game. If Belgium had beaten Croatia,
Canada Morocco beat, but they were going to beat Canada anyway. No offense, Canada, they'd look shoddy all tournament.
Did them winning the group there give them a harsher tie?
I mean, they played Switzerland.
Yeah, they would have played. No, they wouldn't. They weren't in Portugal's group. Whether they would have played Japan and then who did Croatia play?
I don't know.
Brazil.
Because I think the occasion of playing Spain made Morocco raise their performance.
You reckon?
I think Japan could have beaten them. I think the prospect of playing Spain made Morocco step it up, and they stepped it up. They were the most. I mean, yes, I will give you. And this is the other thing: Spain, the most boring football to watch under Luis Enrique.
They are a team that I can only describe. I think the best description is a team full of bark but with no bite. They hold onto the ball really well. They're sensational at that. The passing around the ball, brilliant. Possession stat is ridiculously high. But when it comes to actually putting that ball on the back of the net, they can't do it. They just can't. And it's a common theme of Luis Enrique's sides. They just cannot score goals.
They look so threatening. They're brilliant players, but they never score. But taking off over Morocco, they defended astutely.
And Yassine Bounou.
And I mean, we've talked about Dominic Livakovic. We've talked about Emiliano Martinez. Yassine Bounou. What a tournament he's had.
I mean, it doesn't help Spain when their players are just passing it to him.
And I mean, obviously Sarabia. And then in the penalty shootout, Sarabia hit the post, but then he did save
Busquets. His pen was poor, right? I seem to remember. I might be wrong there. I don't think he skied it. I thought it was just
saved. Might be saved.
I think it was really poor and sort of middle of the goal sort of area.
But Bounou, heroics there, and Morocco go marching on.
Then into the quarterfinals, they face Portugal. Wow. Big goal from En-Nesyri, and they're through to the semi-finals. Sensational. I'm not surprised though. Portugal were, all Ronaldo fans on Twitter were falling over themselves when they beat Switzerland 6-1, even though Ronaldo didn't play.
I said it.
They were still like, it's coming to Portugal, things we'd love to see.
Don't know if I said it on live. I called everyone, I said, Portugal, do not overestimate Portugal.
They're fraudulent.
Because they won 6-1. Switzerland made them look so much better than they were, and Morocco proved that.
And there's certainly some really good players in that Portugal team. Don't get me wrong, obviously we know João Cancelo, Bernardo Silva. I think both of those, in actual fact, had really poor tournaments.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, though, he had a sensational tournament. Goncalo Ramos as well, good game against Switzerland. Other than that, shaky. Yeah. I think João Felix has been their standout player. Yeah. Obviously, we'll go through, talk about Portugal, but I just want to mention João Felix, sensational tournament. As for Morocco...
they've had standout players. Amrabat, Ziyech, En-Nesyri, Hakimi, Bounou. But I've mentioned so many names there. The whole team is that there's not a standout player. The whole team has stood out to me.
I think Ziyech is their most...
Amrabat looks so good.
Yeah, Amrabat's been sensational. I think as an unknown, he's been sensational. Yeah. Hakimi's exactly what I've expected from Hakimi. Ziyech is the closest we'll get to Messi without, finding another Messi.
Yeah.
He is incredible on his left foot, a brilliant creator, and he can score from range, good dribbling. The only problem is he doesn't have a right foot. If he had a right foot, he could really go. And if he had the work ethic, to do it. But
cut
in
it
terms
in
of
the Premier League.
there's a natural talent.
It's just, it hurts because I just know the quality that he could have at Chelsea.
Yeah, and the problem is though, if you're a fan watching the game, because he doesn't have as many those sort of messy moments. What you see from him is the similar thing to Messi of standing around waiting for the ball. You pick up the ball, you score a goal.
Yeah.
And that's what Messi does. Messi's not, running over the pitch to put in a massive challenge to stop his team conceding. But he has already scored 3 at the other end that mean that if you were to concede, it doesn't matter. And that's the type of player Ziyech is. Yeah. Morocco, the fact they don't concede helps them massively, and then they've got the players to
That's the other thing. He gets, obviously, game time. But people look at Ziyech, not just Chelsea fans. Everyone looks at Ziyech over a season and goes, oh, his stats are rubbish. But this is why he's so good at the World Cup, is because he's got a bit of that, as you say, Messi factor about him. Over one game, over 90 minutes, he can provide a bit of magic that gets you through. But
in the same sort of style to Lionel Messi, you have to build your team around him.
Yeah.
But Chelsea would never do that. And that's the problem. No. Chelsea would never go, yes, we're going to throw everything at Ziyech and he's going to be our star.
The only thing for me would be it's very hard to cut it in the Premier League as a one-footed player.
It is. It certainly is. And I think...
You did say...
He has looked really good this tournament. Would you sell him, just before we get into predictions, would you sell Hakim Ziyech?
I think while the iron's hot, you can get a good amount of money for him.
I think I would be more desperate to sell Pulisic than Ziyech.
Yeah, Pulisic
would be because I don't think he looked woeful, but I don't think... Because I thought against England he was really good.
Against Iran, I'll take that back.
So he had a strong tournament. I think while he is a good player, he needs a coach that's going to invest a lot in him. I don't know. We'll see what Potter thinks.
And finishing off on Morocco, we saw. You said that Ziyech isn't going to get back and make a last-ditch chance over. Amrabat does that. That man is up and down that pitch, brilliant going forward, but puts a shift in defensively. I think the one thing that stood out for me was when Spain game in the last 5-10 minutes, Saiss has gone off injured. Who filled in at centre half for 2 minutes?
Yeah,
the centre midfielder.
Amrabat. He's been sensational this tournament. And they've already knocked out Spain, who we know they take a fair few players from, and they've knocked out Portugal, who they take a fair few players from, less so than Spain. But France, another country that a lot of this Morocco national side were born in. I think Naif Aguad was born in France, if I'm not mistaken.
And now this is my thing. This is where...
Will they get another win?
This is what I said about set pieces. We know Morocco have been a threat from them, and I look at the France-England game, especially Upamecano, who was way too physical. If any decent referee pulls him up for that, gives him yellows, gives him reds, and if he's going to give away as many cheap free kicks as should have been given to England when they played them, if he's going to do that, Morocco are going to punish them from the set piece. We know Ziyech's got a wand of a left foot. We know they're a massive threat from corners. They've got big aerial threat. And defensively, they're solid. As good as Mbappe is, Hakimi will play him out the game. Carl Walker can. Hakimi definitely can.
I think the fact they're friends, though, could impact that.
No.
Carl Walker will put in a challenge, and he would not consider the fact that Mbappe is Mbappe.
I think Hakimi will. I don't think he will.
I think he will more.
Well, I don't think it'll affect
him. As much as players...
He might think it, but I don't think it'll affect him. He has managed to drag his country to the semi-finals. He's got to be prepared to wipe out his friend's ankles if he needs to.
I think he would be more reluctant.
Yeah,
is all I'm saying to put in that sort of challenge.
Carl Walker doesn't think.
Well,
twice.
Exactly, and I think that could be their own issue.
I guess each their own. If it was me, if that was my mate, I'm taking them out. If anyone who knows me, this is what it is.
Purely a conceptual situation where you have a friend. That is.
I was hoping you were going to say playing for a national team, but no, you didn't.
No, purely conceptual there. But onto the game.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts before we do those predictions that are going to be
think Morocco
massively
will surprise some people.
Yeah?
Are
you back in Morocco?
I think... I look who they've played.
I think they've always surprised a lot of people.
Australia should have beat, and they did. Denmark they should have beat, and they did. But it was close. We expected. That's what I'm saying. We've seen what's expected of France. They scraped through against England and Poland again.
But Denmark have been crap.
They haven't had a test. They haven't been tested. France. Morocco will test them. They do not look defensively solid to the French.
France had a nice run. You have to get fortuitous sometimes. They got nice in the England game as well. Like this could go either way.
I think they're going to get stumped.
You reckon?
I think they are.
The reigning world champions will be knocked out by the first African semi-finalists at World Cup history?
Yes, and I think Morocco will be the first African finalists.
Wow.
I'm going to say...
But will they be the first African winners? Look out for Sunday. Yeah.
I'm going to say 1-1, a Giroud goal for France, a Ziyech goal for Morocco, and then on penalties, Bounu becomes the hero.
Wow.
Yeah.
Riveting stuff. I'm going 2-1 France. They're going to win in it. It's it is boring, but it's right. Ziyech's going to score for Morocco. People are thinking, they're going to do it. Kylian Mbappe double.
No.
He goes and dances in front of all the French fans.
I
hope they do. I really do hope that if Morocco win the World Cup, I will buy a Morocco shirt with Ziyech on the back.
And also, if you saw my prediction yesterday, I said Argentina are going to win.
Yeah.
I think Argentina-Morocco final. What a final.
Yeah, fair enough. I've got Argentina-France, and that's going to be a good way. Either way, we will be watching both of these live on stream. France-Morocco, and obviously if you missed it yesterday, we covered Argentina-Croatia, both for the podcast and as a stream. So
I say you're a bit late now.
Yeah, well you can go and watch
join
it
tonight though.
Join tonight for France-Morocco on YouTube. We live from 10 to 7, and then the third place playoff. We will be covering that as well. So we will be watching all four of France, Morocco, Croatia and Argentina again at the weekend for the bronze medal and for the World Cup final. But that is all from us today. Thank you all very much for watching. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure to hit that download button, add to episodes, follow us if you don't already. Rate it as well. I think that's something you can do on there. It's been a while since we put anything out on Spotify.
Only rate us if you're going to rate us 5 or 4.
Yeah. Don't give us a 1. That'd be incredibly disappointing. And leave a like. Get involved in the comments as well on YouTube. We want to hear your predictions as well. But that is all from us today. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.